There we go. Welcome to the Future Comedy Show podcast, episode 22. We're here with a very special guest, Mary Santora. How you doing?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Wonderful.
You just made the trip all the way from Cleveland.
I did. This is my first ever Facebook Live as well. Yes, I've never been on anyone's Facebook Live.
Yes.
So this is exciting times.
It's an exciting time for me, too.
Right, yeah, good stuff.
We'll put that in the bio.
There you go.
That's what we'll put. So I'm excited to have you. We have a show tonight at the Log Cabin in Freeland, Michigan, 8:45 p.m. It's you, me, Dave Welfare, Corey Barnes. It's a stellar lineup. We're gonna bring it to the cabin.
We're doing it.
We're gonna build a little fire.
Is there actually is it set up like a cabin?
Yeah, it looks like a cabin.
Like Lincoln Logs?
Yeah, they have Lincoln Logs inside.
Do they? That's what I pictured. I just pictured a cute little fire and stuff like that.
Yeah, they don't have a fire, but I think the fire code maybe
right.
it might be messed up a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Bye.
There we go.
Cursed for the first time.
Well, no, the audio's still not even on there.
That's fine. It works.
The funny thing is that the first or the very second episode, this thing fell down.
Right. Well, dude, that's exactly how my career goes. Just shit falls apart everywhere. That's all that it is. Pick up the pieces and try again. That's exactly what my life is.
We're back. We're back. Did anybody say anything?
Nope.
No.
There's no one.
That's
listening.
fine.
That's
Yeah.
all right.
It's okay. Yeah.
I'll miss it.
It fell off. And like I was saying, this thing fell down before. I mean,
perfect.
it's just like part of the whole. It's part of the thing. Something's got to fall down.
Something has to go wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or that you got to have the adversity to, make it worth it.
Well, if there's nothing to overcome, then what are you even doing?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. like driving up the 75 and getting lost on 23.
It wasn't okay. Here's the thing. I took the wrong highway, guys. This is not the first time this has happened to me. This happened to me one time on the way home from Chicago. I ended up in the middle of Indiana, and my phone didn't work because it's Indiana. And I'm just I don't know where I am. I had to pull off and ask for directions. But it's it says to stay right, but going right is actually exiting. And I'm a terrible driver, and I don't follow directions as is. So when it says to stay right, and I end up exiting, then I'm on the wrong highway. And it's not like in Michigan. There's not exits every.
4 feet. Yeah. It's a couple miles.
Yeah, and then I'm 20 minutes out of my way, and then I have to turn around and come back another 20 minutes to get back on the road, and this is 100% my fault. I'm not complaining about Michigan's highways.
Yeah, well,
I'm an idiot. That's
we're just glad you made it.
I did make it.
You're moving up the ranks in the comedy scene. I just keep hearing your name, Mary. Yeah. Everybody's just like Santora.
That sounds cool. That's cool. I don't hear it that much. More or less exciting.
Yeah, that's exciting. You are a 2-time winner of the Best Female Comedian in Cleveland.
Yes, Cleveland Scene Magazine does a Best of Cleveland edition every year, which is super cool, and they get to highlight all kinds of local businesses and artists and singers, painters, performers, and so last 2016, 2017 was Best Female Comedian, which is pretty awesome.
Did they give you a plaque or anything?
Yeah, I actually have them hanging on my wall.
That's awesome.
They're right above not above my bed, but next to it. And then the group that I run shows with in Cleveland called Accidental Comedy, we were on the cover of a local magazine called Pressure Life. So it's our framed cover, and then my 2 stupid little awards, which I don't know, they're super cool, and I like that kind of
stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. I mean, I have to I only have my student of the month from 8th grade. That's what I have.
I always had cheerleading awards.
Oh, you cheerleaded?
Oh my god, I cheered for 14 years, and it was just but they were never productive awards. It was not it was busiest bee. You know what I mean? Okay, we can't shut you up or keep you quiet.
Yeah.
So we have to give everyone one, and this is the one that you get. But yeah, I used to cherish those.
Is that a real award? Busiest
I think it was busiest bee or worker bee award or something like that, where they're just we have nothing to give this ADD child. We have to figure out something to hand her.
That is better than you know how in high school they give everybody an award most likely to succeed or most what's it called?
A superlative?
Yeah, I didn't even know that word, but I like Scrabble, so I'm gonna put that down.
You gotta know how to spell it. Superlative. No, that's.
I'm messing it all up, but yeah, they didn't even give me one. Everybody got one. It was left out. It was not even most likely to be late or nothing.
The way those worked in my high school was that people voted on them. There were 15 categories, and then you could
Oh, there's only 15?
Yeah, it wasn't for everyone.
I feel we had 150 categories.
Oh, wow. How many kids are in your senior class?
120. Okay. Everybody got at least 1 or 2.
You are the worst.
I know.
Look at you now. I'm going to show them.
I made it.
I'm going to go Facebook Live.
I made some podcast equipment, and I was like, oh yeah, I got a snowman my mom gave me.
There you go.
I got a robot with a mustache. That's how you do it.
Yeah, that's great. Less likely to have things fail on your podcast. You just make up your own now.
I have a printer. I just print things all the time. I just hang them on the fridge.
Dude, how great would that be if you had your own wall of fame, but it's all shit that you gave
just
yourself?
Just made up. Woke up on Tuesday before 9 o'clock.
Good
Boom,
job, Mike.
Killing it.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just something stupid like a golden thumbs up that you give yourself every week, once a week. Different stuff.
Just a star award for myself if I do good.
Your own star chart?
Yeah, and I'll take myself out to pizza if I do good.
Right?
I like it. I think we're onto something.
A reward system for... Well, you're onto something for you.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I think anybody could do it. I mean...
Right.
You could do it. You'd be like, oh, got back and forth to a gig with going all the right roads. Stars.
Right. Didn't take the wrong highway.
There you go. That'd be huge.
That would be huge.
Like next to the busiest bee award.
Right. Right. There you go.
That's dope. I remember. I made like an awesomest person like trophy. It was like this big from a trophy store, and like it was like $5 to make it, so I made it, right? And everybody knew. It was like, you made that for yourself, didn't you? And everybody called me out on it. It was super,
dude.
Yeah, it's super lame.
Did you get stuffed in like lockers in high school?
No, I did not.
No? Are you sure?
No.
You're making your own awards?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get stuffed in any lockers. I don't think.
Were you nerdy?
No. I got along with everybody.
Okay.
I wasn't like in any like sort of like clique. I wasn't like in the jacks. I wasn't like, well, I don't know. I was probably more, I don't know. I played soccer.
Like a floater.
So yeah, I played soccer. Okay. So that means like you're kind of a. Well, I don't know if I can say this, but my mom's watching or anything.
Oh, hey, Mom.
Yeah, we can't let those dirty deeds out.
A jock.
What about you? You're a cheerleader, so you were like the cool
I was
kid?
A cheerleader. I had a high school sweetheart who was like captain of the basketball team.
Oh, and you're out there?
Cross country and all that stuff.
You're there to support them? You're like, yeah!
My brothers used to call me Captain High School.
Captain High School?
Yeah. It was like, it's not like a great thing. I'm not bragging by any means that I was 17 and snooty. Like, that's what it is, but yeah. Life has worn me down since then.
Oh, we got some people commenting on here.
Who?
Okay, let's see. Dan Volk says, beautiful ceiling fan. That's much better when it fell off. Yes.
Oh, perfect.
It doesn't even work. Andrew Robbins says, have a good show tonight. My Uncle Rich says, I love these live broadcasts. Thank you, Uncle Rich. Love you, buddy.
Uncle Rich.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
And then Dan Volk. He'll probably come out tomorrow to the Tuesday show at the 702. He's always there.
Okay.
Then Dan Volk says, going to try and make it out tonight. Sadly, no promises, though.
No promises. I love when people say stuff like that. And they're like, oh, I really want to try.
You got me very excited. And then Chad. Actually, Chad is where I got your name from. He said, wait till you see her act tonight. A legitimate killer. He actually was like, you have to book Mary. She's so funny.
Yeah, we just did a show together not too long ago. Chad's a really nice
guy. At the Swan Boat Club?
Yes, at the Swan Boat Club.
With the Ella poster. I designed that poster.
Oh, yeah, that was cool.
Thank you.
Very cool. Good stuff.
I love that. And then Matt Holt said, Mary Santora is the truth. And then
Matt Holt was at that show?
Cassandra Washington said, hey, Mary, Felipe's watching. Then Cam O'Connor said that you tried to kill him in his home?
That's incorrect.
What happened there?
I don't know what he's referring to, but Cam, I stayed with him when I worked Go Bananas in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
We ate a lot of spaghetti.
Really?
That might be what it was. We got super high and watched Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
And just ate spaghetti?
I think I ate half a box of Oreos that night. So if anybody tried to kill anybody, I was probably the one almost killed with snacks. That would be on Cam.
Yeah, maybe. I've been to Go Bananas for a guest spot, and Cam was a very good host. I mean, he let me sleep on this nice airbed, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like such an artist community. Everybody's just getting stoned and watching movies. It was crazy. It was
cool. Yeah,
very nice.
I never tried to kill you, Cam. I will now. No, if I try, I will succeed.
Matt Mook said, what are you doing tonight? We are performing at the Log Cabin, 8:45. That's in Freeland, Michigan. And Josh Henning says, do a show in NorCal, Mary.
Ooh, Josh Henning. That's a guy I went to like middle school and high school with. I haven't seen him in forever. I always loved that too. I was like, I've been all over the Midwest, so I like try to post when I'm in people's areas. I'm like, hey, I'm coming here, or wherever. And I always love when people are like, oh, I'll try to make it. When are you going to be nearby? I'm like, oh, I'm only 20 minutes away from you. And they're like, oh, well, you know, let me know when you're close. I'm like, that's as close as I'm going to get. I'm not coming to your living room to do a show. Like, you're out of your mind.
Yeah, but that is funny. 20 minutes away.
People do that all the time.
And then they'll be like, you gotta tell me. And then you tell them, they're like,
oh, I wish I had more notice.
I wish I had a babysitter.
Right.
Like, what?
Like, well, I can't come out on a Tuesday. And I'm like, well, this is what I do.
It's what you do, and you're doing it. I'm watching your Facebook, and you're opening up for Dave Attell. You did?
I did. I opened for Attell twice. He was awesome. He's like the coolest guy ever, which was so cool. And it's like, they're like, don't meet your heroes or whatever. But it's like, he's been doing comedy for as long as you can remember, you know, and he's just genuinely cares about comedy. You know what I mean? Like, he wants the comedians who are performing to be better, so he gives you tools to do that.
Yeah.
He wants, you know, the shows to be great, so you know what I mean? Like, his following is such a comedy following that you go up there and it's just like, from right off the rip, they're with you and they want to hear what you have to say. Those were some of the best shows I've ever had in my life. I opened for him at Hilarities in Cleveland, and he like brought myself and Dave Landau, who's another Michigan guy.
Yeah, Dave's hilarious.
That was the lineup. I hosted, Dave Landau featured, and Dave Attell headlined, and I'm like, that's just unbelievable. Like, that's
a great lineup.
It was insane to watch those two work together, and then Attell brought both of us back up on stage afterwards, Landau and I.
Yeah.
And I'm standing next to both of them, and Dave Landau's obviously amazing. If you guys aren't following him on Instagram and Facebook and stuff, you have to.
Yeah.
But to watch both of them be so quick, going back and forth, I just kind of stood there and I'm like, there's nothing I can say right now. Like, there's no way I can say anything remotely funny compared to what you two are doing.
Yeah,
but,
Dave Landau's one of my favorites, for sure.
Great, yeah.
Which, Dave's going to be here in Saginaw on March 24th with myself and Connie Entinger at Hills Bar. Tickets not available yet, but you can message me and I will print one off for you.
There you go.
But that is huge. That's
that was awesome. That was such a fun weekend. And then, like, 2 weeks later, I went and opened for him at the Chicago Improv, which was another really, really cool room. I had not been there yet, and it was huge, but it was like a Sunday night show, which I don't normally do, completely packed out, same kind of a thing, everyone on board, and he's just a really good guy. That was like one of the cooler shows. And then I'm super pumped, in 2 days on Wednesday, I'll be in Fort Wayne, Indiana, opening for Kyle Kinane.
Sweet.
So another one that's just a comedy great that, I just love those people who just are so good at comedy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you watch them and you're like, I'm so far away from being this good. Like, it's just so exciting.
The next level. You are.
Yeah.
I mean, really though, if you think about it, you are performing at the highest level. I mean, even your opening for Dave Attell, that is the highest ranks. Like, it's like you're there. I mean, do you feel accomplished? I mean,
I mean, I'm not saying.
Can I print you an award or what?
Yeah, print me an award for that. Go ahead. I'm not saying it's not exciting, because it's crazy exciting. But it's one of those things where you step back when you work with someone that good. And you just watch them, and you're like, man, like, I'm so far away. I will never be that good. Like, you just watch them, and of course, people have been doing it 25 years or whatever, but.
And you're about to hit your 6-year anniversary.
6-year anniversary on Friday. Ooh, I feel like such a baby.
You're going to get a cake, and.
There
you go.
I picked up a show in Covington, Kentucky for that night.
Yeah.
So, Thursday I'll be in Lexington at Comedy Off Broadway with Chris Porter on Thursday, and then Friday I'll be in Covington, and then I don't even know where else I'm going. Saturday, Columbus, Ohio, Sunday, Louisville, Monday and Tuesday in Cincinnati, and then Wednesday through Sunday back home in Cleveland.
That's fantastic.
Nice little run I got going the next 2 weeks.
Busy week.
Yeah.
What got you into comedy?
Oh man, everyone always liked it. But I was actually in college at the time, and a girlfriend of mine was running like a student stand-up competition.
Yeah.
And she asked me if I wanted to do it because she knew that I liked stand-up. And I did it, and I just never stopped. And it's like everyone has those horror stories of the first time they were on stage.
Yeah.
It was some garbage open mic in a bar with 3 drunk people. And it's like I've performed in front of 400 students. Like the very first time I was ever on stage. So that's what I thought comedy was.
You thought it was going to be like that every time.
This is perfect. Like, this is exactly what I want to do. And I didn't really start dying hard until, like, probably 2 or 3 months after that. Because I was doing, like, guests at, like, one of the things from doing the competition in Toledo, you got to do, like, a set at the Toledo Funny Bone, which was super cool. So then now I went from 400 students to, like, a real club.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man, like, why doesn't everybody do this? Like, this is the best thing ever. And then I started a comedy class where I was performing in bars and stuff, and I was just like, oh, wow, no, this is what it's like. Like,
this is the beginning.
Actually, right, where there's, like, 4 people you know, and then that's it. But
you just kept at it.
You just keep going, and that's what everyone was always like, how do you start comedy? I'm like, you just do it
Yeah, and there's nothing to do but do it.
You just go up and do it, and then that's the only way, and then you either keep doing it or you stop doing it. And most people stop doing it, but, that's it.
And you're happy that, like, you just make it. Like, when you make it to 6 years and you haven't given up and you do it consistently, that's how things happen, by the consistent effort.
Well, that's what it is. And it's like, that's what I said, you either keep doing it or you stop doing it. You just... 6 years is like nothing. You know what I mean? It's still, I'm still a baby. I'm still working and building. I mean, you never stop working or building, but it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like at this point, I'm starting to kind of get an idea of what I want to do. Or like, what it actually takes. And I'm, like I said, just kind of starting to scratch the surface a little bit at that point,
Yeah. Well, you are getting great reviews from people, so even... You're just scratching the surface. I feel like you're being very humble, and that's very nice.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Very humble.
I really enjoy it. It's one of those things I don't plan on stopping, so 6 years seems like nothing. You know what I mean? When you look back at when you've been doing it for 30, and you're like, what the asshole was doing it for 6 years? What do you think you know? You know what I mean? Like,
you think you do it into, like, your 80s, like Betty White?
I don't ever plan on stopping.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of those things, though. You just feel that, where it's like, I don't know if...
You're excited. You're excited about it.
You get nervous still because you want to do a good job, and it's just like, I don't know. I'm comfortable enough that I know that I have the material and the stage presence to perform.
Yeah.
But I'm still like, oh man, like a new place, a new audience, a new, whatever.
Yeah.
It's still super exciting. Like that's the best.
We talked about your best gig ever. With Dave. I'm guessing this is the best gig.
Probably pretty close. That just based on like who I was working with and the surroundings and all that stuff. Close second, I did was called the Alan Cox Comedy Tour in 2015 at House of Blues, and it was sold out. It was like 1,100 people there.
Holy moly!
Something like that. It was definitely the biggest audience I've ever performed for. And Alan Cox has a local radio show that I jump on time to time and hang out for a show or two, whatever. But that was like to date one of the best sets I've ever had.
Yeah.
Where I just went up and you're gonna think it's 1,100 people who are there to see comedy. They know what they signed up for. Like,
they're excited.
That's it. They're excited. It only happens once a year.
No,
they had no idea who I was. Not even close. But like, I got up and like my family was there, and it was just like you feel like a rock. I felt like a rock star. I was like, this is it. I'm the best. I'm 2.5, 3 years into comedy, but
you have to have that confidence, especially because if you don't have the confidence, there's in the beginning, who else is going to believe in you? Because I remember when I told my grandma, she's like, "You're going to make a living doing that? We'll see about that."
Dude, my family still says I dropped out of pharmacy school to do this.
Oh,
oh yeah. You think my dad doesn't throw that in my face? Like, when are you gonna make George Lopez money?
George Lopez.
Like, never.
That's a lot of money.
He saw him in Vegas once, so that's like the end all be all to my dad is being George Lopez. So I'm just like, I don't know, man, 20 years I'll put you in a real nice home. Like, I don't know what you want me to say to you, but yeah. So that would be.
So we talked about the best. What are like what was the worst show that you ever did? What's the one where you go, oh,
like a
boy.
show? Because there's plenty of terrible open mics that you go to and you're like, why am I even here? Like, this is...
Like a show. Not open mics. We know open mics.
Right. I inadvertently threatened, well, didn't threaten, but made fun of the owner of a bar's wife at a show in Tennessee. She showed up. I'm in the middle of my set, and just the door flew open. There's only one door to the bar, and this lady is just like not interrupting the show because she just kind of opened the door and stood there. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? I invited her in, and she's being all weird and like sketchy and like slammed the door, and I didn't know who she was, obviously. And I was just like, oh man, this set's going so great. Because this set didn't go great. Before that happened, there was like, no joke, 22 cop cars flew by.
Yeah.
And the reason why I know it was 22 is because the audience stopped listening to what I had to say and started counting the cop cars that were flying by. And I'm just standing there and I'm like, there's no coming back from this. Like, how do I get, it's like almost like a teacher that lost control of the students. Like, how do I wrangle them back in? All right, guys, come on, listen, here we are, we're going to finish this set, da-da-da. And then this lady opens the door and starts acting up and...
She starts acting up.
And then I looked down after she shut the door, and I was like, "Oh man, this is going so great. I can't even get a crackhead to come into the bar for free."
Oh boy!
Yeah, and then the bartender was like, "That's my wife," and I was like, "Oh no! Like, there's no way this is real."
No.
And that's when I still had like 15 minutes left in my set, and I was just standing there, and I'm like, "What do you even do at this point? What do you even do?" Because the set was going really well until then.
Yeah.
The cop cars happened, and then that lady opened the door, and then it was just like. I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to be. I gotta go. I wanted to cry just standing on stage. The other comics, everybody were really nice about it. The bartender was pissed, but
well, yeah,
with good reason. He's just called his wife a crackhead.
Was he the owner and he was bartending, or was he just a bartender?
I don't know. I think he was like one of those does it all kind of.
Yeah,
things.
Like he's the bar. He got the bar and he works it.
Right.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, to this, I closed on a whole bit about that on stage, so it's just. Yeah.
Oh, are we gonna be able to hear that story?
Oh
today?
yeah, you'll hear it in detail. Those are the outlines of it, but yeah, that's.
I'll let you know who the owner is, or the owners if they're there at the bar, so you.
Oh yeah, so that way we don't have that issue. I was talking to one of my friends about it, who's a little older in comedies and doing like 10, 15 years, and I texted him and I was like, "This just happened to me," and he goes, "How about you don't call strangers crack whores?
Crack whores?
That could cover all the bases, and then you are not gonna offend anybody."
Wait. Like. I thought you said crackhead, but you called her a crack whore?
I don't remember.
I mean, because that's like a whole different level. Like, crack...
He was pissed, so it was probably crack whore.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't remember. I apologize. I'm sorry.
Well, that's what happens sometimes.
Well, you learn your lesson, is you shut your mouth, and you don't say things like that.
But no,
sometimes
you gotta call people crackheads. And usually it's funny if you call somebody a crackhead. Because you know it's in good joking, like, oh, that's crack. Well,
that was the thing. I was like, we weren't in the best neighborhood. 22 cop cars had just flown by. Yeah. And I was like, oh, look at this, you know what I mean? But
you don't know. That was just bad luck.
That was bad judgment. That was poor judgment.
I think you should keep calling people crackheads or crack whores.
If anything else, I'll get more stories out of it.
Yeah. That is hilarious. I think that'd be a.
And that's the only reason why that show was bad. The show itself was great. It was produced perfectly. The lineup was awesome. Everything was that. I ruined that. That was me. I derailed that show. The cop cars, and then the crazy lady, and then, well, she was a fine lady. And then me being not being able to read the situation.
When she just came in, was she but she was acting weird though, right?
Well, I've never seen somebody open a door and just stand there.
Yeah.
And just look in. And I'm like, hey, come on in. Close the door.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She just kind of looked around and then shut the door and left. I'm like, where are you going? What is... I don't know.
Well, the funny thing, I've had shows where, I'm not saying that they were for sure crackheads, but probably 45% chance that they were crackheads, where they the doors by the stage, and then they walk in and they wander and they look around and then they just wander back out.
Right.
So, I mean, I can see how it happened, how you thought that.
Yeah, it was still just poor judgment. You know what I mean? And that's what my buddy was like, how about you just don't say those things to people? And then you don't have to worry about who you're offending if you don't say offensive things. I'm like, you're right. I don't know.
All right, we got a few comments here. Jerry Walter said, fire, fire, fire.
Jerry.
Lou said, Mary is such a superstar performer, one of the best comics I've ever seen in person. Ooh, that's very nice. Jim Tyson said, the Future Comedy Show is the best. Mike Ball, you rock. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. He was just at the show on last Wednesday, so hopefully he comes back out this Wednesday.
Come on out, Jim.
Mr. Tyson? Mr. Tyson?
The Nuggets?
Tyson Nuggets?
I live with a 6-year-old, so that's just my go-to.
Wait, is it
No, I don't have any children. It's my niece. What if that's how I describe my kids, though?
Yeah.
Yeah, I live with a 6-year-old.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I bet you're calling people crackheads. I didn't know what was going on.
That would be the type. That's how you can tell if someone wanted to be a parent.
Yeah.
Not my beautiful baby girl, this 6-year-old I live with.
Yeah, she's a crackhead.
Right?
You should see.
It's my niece. She's great. She's super cute. She's very sassy, and but yeah, that's why I just hear Tyson. I think nugs.
Yeah, a lot of nugget eating at the house.
A lot of nugget eating. The kid, that's all she eats.
She just loves
chicken nuggets and fries and waffles sometimes.
Wow. That's a great diet.
It's a terrible diet. I was at home last week and I ate like a child at bologna sandwiches and I'm like, I feel like garbage. There are no nutrients in my body. I don't know how you can survive, how children can survive.
Their metabolism's crazy. They just eat Mountain Dew.
Right.
Candy cigarettes.
Candy cigarettes. Do they even make those anymore?
I don't know.
I get those from the ice cream truck.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, our ice cream truck used to have candy cigarettes for 25 cents.
Yeah, my ice cream truck used to have candy cigarettes and real cigarettes.
There you go. Welcome to Michigan.
Yeah.
Dude, I drove through not a great part of town.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got to go through the worst part of town to get to where I live.
Yeah.
If you're coming off 75.
I got off, and the first thing on the right was a half broken down hotel, but there was still advertisements for rooms. It was King Suite $39.99, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, that's where you're at. That's where you're staying.
I was like, if I get an address for this hotel and this is it, I'm going.
No,
I'm just kidding.
But That place, I think my mom told me like somebody got murdered there. So
it looks like it.
It's not a very safe place. But I think the hotel across the street I went to one time and went swimming with my friend a long time ago.
For fun?
Yeah, well, for fun.
You didn't lose a bet, or like that wasn't a dare or something?
I don't know, like her family like went there like for vacation, like come swimming. I'm like, all right. And I didn't think it, but it wasn't on that other one, the one you've seen. That one's
that place. I mean, it really did look like if you had a nightmare that you had to stay in a terrible place where you got murdered, that would be the place.
That'd be the place.
Like, that's it was a nightmare come to life. Half the doors were boarded up, like, the shingles were falling off the roof, and I was like, oh man, that place has been out of business for a while. And then it, like, still had a sign that was lit up and advertising. I'm like, what is going on here? That's, I don't know.
The worst place I ever stayed at, I was actually promoting a show for Dave Landau. It was Dave and I and a few other people on the lineup, and it was in Flint. And I was coming back from a show, and I'm like, oh, I don't feel like driving all the way back to Flint in the morning, so I'm just gonna stay at a cheap motel and then just get up and put up flyers. And I went, and like the lady was like how long are you staying? And I'm like, staying the night. And she's like, just you? And I'm like, yeah, just me. And they're like, okay, right.
Yeah.
They thought I was going there. They thought I was just going there to like get with a prostitute. Right. Yeah. And then I like walked, like I went to it, and it was like really like sketchy. And before I even got out, I was like in my car, and like a woman of the night came up and was like, "Can I help you?" And I was like, "No, I'm just reading the Google reviews to see if this is a nice place to stay."
No,
and she was like, "It's a great place to stay." And like I'm just like, "Oh, okay."
I'm a regular.
Yeah.
What?
And I ended up staying. It was like $30 or whatever.
Oh well, yeah.
And I was like, okay. And I got in there, and the bars were on the window, and then like the bed was, or like the room was all just paneling, like wood paneling. So it looked like it was from the 1970s with a TV with a dial switch on it. And like I turned on the TV, and there was 1980s porn being streamed from what I think The Office. You remember like when you were in high school when they streamed like Channel 1 or whatever to the TV? They were streaming porn. Old porn to the thing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so scary. Watched it for a little bit, turned it off, and I was like, and I was so scared. And then I was like, I'm just gonna go to sleep. And all of a sudden I just heard a knock on the door. And I'm like, I'm not answering this door. And they just kept knocking and knocking and knocking. I'm like, I'm not answering it. And I like told the person at the front desk about it in the morning. I'm like, yeah, somebody just kept knocking on my door last night. And they're like, oh, yeah, that was like who was coming to see you. Like they didn't like believe me. They're like,
oh my god. See, that's the nice thing. Is that, and I'm not trying to make it sexist, but about being a man is that if there were to be someone to come to your door, you would probably have a better chance of fighting them off. Whereas, like, if I'm staying in that place, I'm looking around like, this is where I die tonight. This is it. This is the end of my life. Like, whoever is at that door is going to murder me forever. And that's something you have to live with. It's being a small woman, you're just like, oh, this is great, perfect. I was like, oh, I either die in this $30 motel or I empty my bank account to stay at a Sheridan. Like, you know, like those are my options.
Stay at the Sheridan. Save your life. It's not worth it. Impossible. Those I would never do that again. Ever.
No, it's not worth it.
It was scary, but here we are today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then Jim Tesson said, but you can rent the room by the hour. But yeah, that's true.
Right.
Yeah. So you're going to be staying at the Comfort Suites. This is not a huge commercial for them. But yes, you will be. They are sponsoring half of this podcast because they're giving us a good deal on the room. So that's pretty cool. Man. Thanks, Comfort Suites. So you can tell us tomorrow like how good the room was and make sure it's like, super great. And then
perfect.
And then we'll talk about it next week or wherever gets a hotel.
Right.
And that's okay. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm just looking at who people are liking it. I'm excited. Yay. We're doing pretty good. We got like 19 live viewers. We're like
19.
PBS up in here.
We should get a telethon going.
I know. We could raise money.
We could. What could we raise money for? My gas tank? That would be wonderful.
Your gas tank?
Live viewers. 4 shares.
Yeah, we're doing very well.
Yeah,
very well.
I like it.
What is something? This is a question. What disappointment have you had in your career that led to success later on?
Ooh, do you have an example?
Say like you didn't get an opportunity, and because that opportunity didn't happen, something better happened, or you learned from it, and then something better happened.
I feel like those things like low key happen all the time. You
know
what I mean? I had a string of shows for the end of March that ended up getting canceled.
Yeah.
Not a lot. One of them was a really, really well-paying private gig.
Yo.
And I was so bummed out. Those corporate gigs are how a lot of comedians
will... bread and butter.
Yeah, it's you get one a month, and then you're like, okay, that'll lock me in to pay my bills, and then everything else I can kind of start to, And I was really looking forward to it, and when it got canceled, I was super bummed out. I was like, I can't believe that's real. And it was like... I had other things around it because I was traveling out of town for it, obviously.
Yeah.
And then I had a couple different things around it. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to... That was paying for me to get there to do the other little gigs. So I ended up having to cancel like 4 or 5 shows. But then I got in contact with someone who is actually taking me out to Hawaii to do shows at the end of March. So it's one of those things where I was like, I'm not making nearly as much money. It's going to cost me money to get out there. I'm still going to do shows while I'm out there. But it's one of those things where if that wouldn't have fallen apart... I would have never been able to go to Hawaii. So
you're going to Hawaii?
So I'm
there
going
you go.
to Hawaii March 26th, which I'm like insanely excited about. I've never been to Hawaii. I've never seen the Pacific Ocean. I have never seen blue water. I mean, I am like losing my mind, crazy excited. And it's like I was legitimately upset. Like when that gig got canceled, I cried. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh my God, this is crazy. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And then just a couple weeks after that, through know somebody who knows somebody who can hook it up, end up getting those same dates covered, but in Paradise. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's probably the biggest one and the most recent that I could think of was like...
That's great. So, anybody out there who thinks something bad just happened to them, maybe you're going to be going to Hawaii soon.
Come to Hawaii with me.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, I want to come. I'm like, pay for your ticket. I don't care. It's like, you can get yourself out there. We can hang out in Hawaii. That's going to be cool.
That'd be sweet.
I'm so excited for that.
That's probably one of the... That's what the main reason... Well, one of the main reasons I got into comedy in the first place is just to travel.
Yeah, it's a great way. I mean, if you love the Midwest, I mean, I suggest starting stand-up. It's so funny because I would bartend during the days. I haven't worked in like 3 weeks. But I bartend during the day, and people be like, you're gone all the time. You're always on vacation. And I'm like, oh, yeah, to Saginaw, Michigan. Like, that's where I'm not that this isn't a beautiful town.
Whoa. Beautiful, sunny Saginaw, Michigan.
Sunny Saginaw. But I'm just like,
okay, Cleveland.
No, Cleveland's not any better. But I'm like, is that where you take your vacations? Do you go to vacation in Pittsburgh? Like, that's not... The places I'm playing are
I'm
not
supposed to go to Pittsburgh here soon.
I love Pittsburgh. It's a great city, but people make it seem like, oh, well, you're gone all the time. You're always traveling, which it is cool to see those different places. But I think that people who aren't performing aren't understanding that it's not like you're not going to Hawaii, you're not going to Florida, you're not going to, like things like that. It's like, yeah, I mean, in the next 10 days